Are you struggling in sales? There are 3 key things that you need to avoid in the sales process. Let's go over that today. Kevin Ware, your action business coach, helping you achieve your business dreams. One of the biggest challenges that I see over the years of coaching is that most people struggle at some point with the concept of sales. There's this idea that there are just natural born salespeople. That's a really teeny tiny small part of the population. The vast majority of people just don't know how to sell, and so they're making mistakes that basically stop their growth in selling, especially for business owners. Most business owners I've encountered over the years are not very good at sales, and yet to get their business off the ground, they have to be a salesperson. So let's go over those 3 key things that you need to avoid in sales. Now, before we get started, I want to give a reminder out that sales isn't just about pushing product. It's about building relationships. You're offering value to somebody who needs your product or service. Now, there's a little saying that I've heard over the years is that people love to buy, they hate to be sold. That's the key here, is that people do enjoy buying something that's going to bring value to them. Your job is to be the conduit of that. So let's go over those 3 things to avoid in sales. The first one is focusing in on features and benefits. I've seen this before, and you probably have encountered that. How many times have you had some people that we were trying to sell you, and they are just pumping out facts, figures, data, stuff that probably confused you. I mean, how many RAM is this, or what processor speed is that, or here's this feature and it works off of this system or whatever. No, that just sometimes is just blinds you. The key here is what's the benefit that the product or service brings to the individual that's going to make their life better. Remember what I call the WIFM principle, W-I-I-F-M. What's in it for me? That is what your potential customer has in their mind at all times. So when you swamp them with lots of features that may excite you, many times it's not going to excite them. The key here is that you have to figure out what problems that your product or service is going to solve and zero in on that. The features are the conduit to basically making the actual problem solved, and you have to keep that in mind. So remember this, let's focus less on features and more on benefits for the customer. So now, number 2 is not listening enough. Here's the thing, is that we in sales love to talk. Now, sometimes that, talking can get in the way. How many times have you ever been talking with somebody and they cut you off and it was frustrating? How many times are we doing that in sales, where the customer might be saying things and then you have to jump in the middle of their sentence to add value to the conversation? It's actually doing the opposite. The customer now feels that you're not listening to them. Here's the thing, you have to do what we call active listening. What is active listening? Active listening is simply taking time, listening to the client or the customer, allowing them to completely tell you what they wanted to tell you, and then you go, okay, you follow up with an intelligent question that elicits an even deeper response from the person that you're selling to. Now, the key here is that if you allow them to answer and you don't dig deeper, then they don't think you care. So you have to do the active listening. You can't cut them off mid-sentence. You have to allow them to keep talking. And in an ideal world, 70 to 75% of the talking needs to be from your customer, not you. So when you ask the right questions, you dig deeper, you listen intently, you can get to the core of what the customer wants. They now know that you truly care. So let's make sure that we are active listening, intelligent follow-up questions to dig deeper, and do a lot less talking in that sales session. Now, number 3 is not following up. Here's the thing, is that you probably have a lot of leads that are floating around out there. They're in your database, they're in some email communication, and you've never reached out to them. You might have done a sales session with them. You might have actually, talked with them, and then you emailed them and called them and never got back to you. And then you ignore them. No. The whole idea here is that you have to figure out a way to get to know. Well, what do I mean by that? You want every single lead that turns into a prospect to give you an answer one way or another. How many leads are just floating around out there of somebody you've talked to, you've communicated with, and you've never heard back from them again? how persistent are you to get to some form of no, I'm not interested? At least that way we reach a conclusion. You might be surprised that maybe they finally, with a little bit more follow-up, going, okay, the time is now. Maybe the time wasn't right then. So one of the things I usually find is it's going to take at least 7 reach outs to that individual to get some form of decision from them. And even then, if they say no, you can certainly ask, is this a forever no or a not now no? Most of the people, it's like, it's not the right time. Fine. Put them onto email, newsletter drip, a social media contact that they can look you, get subscribed to your social media. Anything that continues that level of communication with them, and maybe later they turn around. So you've got to really focus in on that. Let's cover those 3 mistakes to avoid as we finish up here. 1, focusing on features instead of benefits. Number 2, not listening enough. And number 3, not following up enough. That if you can avoid these 3, you're going to dramatically increase your sales results in your sales job, or if you are a business owner. Now, here's the thing, is that a lot of salespeople, including business owners, are not trained at sales. How do you go about getting good sales training? We have a 12-week sales training program that covers a whole myriad of things. It helps you master the sales process, it helps you close deals, and it helps you grow your business successfully. Now, I am open to have a sales coaching session with you and talk about what you need to be better at in sales. At the end of this coaching session, if you want to join the 12-week sales program, great. We'll talk a little bit about it. It's only $1,200 for a full 12 weeks. That's the best bargain you're going to get out there, and then we will schedule you in. I don't want to pressure anybody here, and at the same time, if you are not getting what you need to get out of your sales efforts, you need this additional training. So click below, sign up, let's talk a little bit, go out there, avoid those 3 sales mistakes. Have a great day.